Hey everybody, welcome to Crack Pack Tuesday, number 135 on the Mana Leak. I'm John as always, and we've got ourselves a pack of Rivals of Ixalan. Rivals of Ixalan comes out this Friday in paper, and you can draft it. You can draft it online right now, and I already have. Didn't go great, but if you want to go check it out, we did pull 3 mythics, so go check that out on my Monday video from yesterday. But we're going to open this, see what's in it, and see what we would take pack one, pick one, if this was a draft. Up first, we've got ourselves an Raptor. Raptor is 2 red for a creature dinosaur. It's a 3/4, and that's it. It's fine if you desperately need a creature, there you go, but it's extremely 23rd creature-y, and certainly not a first pick. Up next is another Raptor Companion, 1 and a white for a creature dinosaur. It's a 3/1 with no other text either. This one's significantly better, goes in all of your white aggro decks. You'll love to have them. You will never, ever, ever spend a first pick on it, or a second, or a third, or a fourth, or a fifth, or probably even a 6th on it. So it's not going to stick around in frame, but it is fine, and I'll always have a Raptor buddy. Negate is up next, 1 and a blue for an instant counter target non-creature spell. You begrudgingly sometimes play this in sealed. You do not play this in draft. You do not. There's just not enough non-creature spells that you really should care about to main deck this. Side it in if you see a planeswalker. Side it in if you see too much removal. Side it in if there's a spell you can't handle, but don't ever main deck it and don't spend a high pick on it. Up next, Vampire Revenant. Vampire Revenant is 3 black for a creature, Vampire Spirit. It's a 3/1 flyer, so you can get a 3/1 for 2 on the ground, or you can get a 3/1 flying for 4. It's okay if it's in the Vampire deck. I did have good luck with it, putting a counter on it using the Sanguine Glorifier. There are uses for it. It is weak. It dies to something looking at it with that 1 toughness, but if you can boost it up, it's decent. A Vampire deck would probably play this. Happily is a strong word, but as like a 22nd card. It's not your utter last pick, or it's not your utter last choice, but it's certainly not a first pick for us. Up next is Knight of the Stampede. Knight of the Stampede is 3 and a green for a creature human knight. It's a 2/4, and dinosaur spells you cast cost 2 less to cast. Knight of the Stampede will help you cast all those big dinosaurs for sure. It's a great card if you can go like Kinjali's Collar into a Otepec Huntmaster, into something, into this. Your big Naya dinosaur is going to be pretty cheap at that point. Also blocks really well. This is just an all-around okay card if you have a lot of dinosaurs, preferably larger dinosaurs, but it still works just as well on the little guys. You know, making your Frenzied Raptor cost a red mana, that's pretty darn good. So Knight of the Stampede's fine in a dinosaur deck. I think you go into the dinosaur deck and then pick this up. I don't think you pick it up too early. Certainly not a first pick. Up next is Recover. Recover is 2 and a black for a sorcery. Return target creature from your graveyard to your hand and also draw a card. Recover's fine if you like these spells. You know me, I historically don't really like them. If I'm playing a big bomb, especially a bomb that I think is going to die, or even better, something like a Lenda who you are okay with dying and then bringing back, Recover goes up in value. I don't tend to main deck or play this spell too much. A lot of people do slightly more, but it's still a very, very, very low pick. And not a first pick at all. Up next is Kite Sail Coarser. Kite Sail Coarser is 1 and a blue for a creature human pirate at common. It's a 2/1, and when it attacks, it flies. This card's really, really, really good. This is basically a Welkin turn, which is 1 and a blue for a creature bird, I think. 2/1, flies all the time, but it can only block flyers. So this is kind of the reverse. It only flies when it attacks, but it can block on the ground, so it can't block flyers. Yeah. This is a really nice aggressive card. If this pack doesn't get better, this is our first pick right now. And it's a good card. I would not feel horrible if I had a pack where I first picked this. Would not feel good, but I would not feel horrible. They're going to hang out for the moment. Hopefully they do go away pretty quickly. Our next common, I was going to say our final common, but no, we've got one more, is Jade Bearer. Jade Bearer is a single green mana for a creature merfolk shaman at common. It's a 1/1. When it enters the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on target merfolk you control. Not a big fan of Jade Bearer. It's a 1-drop that you do not want to play on turn 1. This feels bad playing it on turn 1. You're playing a 1/1 that does nothing. because it does have to go on a different merfolk, not itself. So I'm not a big fan of Jade Bearer. I'd prefer probably almost any other merfolk in the merfolk deck. So I'm never, ever, ever first picking this. I'm cutting it pretty frequently as well, I think. It's kind of like Jungle Delver, but I think just worse than Jungle Delver, to be honest. And I barely played that. Our last common is Traveler's Amulet. Traveler's Amulet is a single generic mana for an artifact at common. Pay a generic mana and sacrifice it to go search your library for a basic land card, reveal it, and then put it into your hand, shuffle your library. If you're fixing, you want Traveler's Amulets. You definitely want them. I sometimes will even play them in a 2-color deck just to thin my deck a little bit. Not often, and usually when I'm struggling for a playable, but yeah, if you're looking to splash, you pick these up pretty highly. Obviously, never, ever, ever a first pick. Our first uncommon is Stormfleet Swashbuckler. Stormfleet Swashbuckler is 1 and a red for a creature human pirate at uncommon. It's a 2/2. It has Ascend, and it has Double Strike if you have the City's Blessing. This thing can be really annoying. I've played this. I've played against this. The City Blessing was basically always online. I don't think the City's Blessing is something that you never ever see. I think it's something you see pretty commonly. I would say the vast majority of games I've played, both in sealed and draft so far, the City's Blessing has been something that's been in play or would have been in play if they had hit Ascend. Yeah, this is a fine creature. It's 2/2 for 2, which you'll always play. It's a 2/2 Double Strike for 2 later in the game, which is decent. And when you aura this up, put a counter on it, use Buccaneer's Bravado, etc., it can get big real fast. I would consider first picking it in a weaker pack, and this is looking like a weaker pack. Up next is Canseer. Canseer is 1 green-white for a creature human druid. It's a 2/3. Tap it to add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. Sacrifice it to return target dinosaur from your graveyard to your hand. I love ramp. I love fixing. I love all of the things that this card does. I would consider first picking it, even though it is a gold card, and just, say, all right, I'm dinosaurs. I'm big rampy dinosaurs, and I can probably even splash to make a Naya deck. Yeah, I'd be pretty happy with an Canseer as my first pick. I think it might be winning my first pick at the moment, but we'll see what else we have. Our last uncommon is Aquatic Incursion. Aquatic Incursion is 3 and a blue for an enchantment. When Aquatic Incursion enters the battlefield, create 2 1/1 blue merfolk creature tokens with hexproof. Pay 3 and a blue. Target merfolk can't be blocked this turn. Haven't played this yet. Haven't seen it played yet. I think it has a place. It's 4 mana for 2 1/1 hexproof merfolk. I still haven't been really impressed by the 1/1 merfolks. They are certainly not the vampires. They just, I don't know. If you can get an aura on one, they get a little bit better, but they still just, they don't attack well. I guess you could pay 4 to make it unblockable, but you're paying 4 for a 1/1. I'm not sold on Aquatic Incursion. I have to see it played. I don't think I'd ever first pick it, even if it was decent in the merfolk deck. But yeah, not for me and not competing with these 3 cards. Our rare is bad. Brass's Bounty, 6 and a red for a sorcery, and you get a treasure for each land that you control. This is just awful. You never want to hit 7 mana in red, and if you do, you then hit 14, and you don't want to hit 14 mana in red. There's no fireball in this format. You're not paying 14 into a fireball and killing your opponent. Brass's Bounty is awful. You should never first pick it. You should never ever pick it. You should never ever play it. Unless you're doing something stupid with Revel in Riches and you want to have some fun, and then okay. But no. We do have a foil. Our foil is just a Jadecraft Artisan, a 3 and a green for a 3/3 creature merfolk shaman. When it enters the battlefield, target creature gets +2/+2 until end of turn. It doesn't have to be a merfolk, and that makes this card great. This card goes in dinosaurs, this card goes in merfolk, this card goes in green-black graveyard shenanigans with chupacabras, whatever. Yeah, Jadecraft Artisan is just solid. It's fine. It's filler-ish level, maybe like 22nd, maybe even 21st level card, but it's real low. It's not a card that you're going to consider first picking. So this was a weak pack with a weak rare. I think I'm just on the Canseer. It's a little bit wonky being a 2-color card as opposed to one of these 1-color cards, but the 1-color cards are relatively weak. I think if it wasn't there or we weren't considering it, I would actually go for the Coarser over the Swashbuckler, just because this is always a 2/1 flyer on the attack. This is a 2/2 for 2. It's just on the ground for the longest time before it gets Double Strike. So I think with these 2 cards, I'd be on Coarser, but with the Seer in the pack, I'm going to go for the Seer. Let me know what you'd have taken in the comments down below. Would you have taken the Seer, the Corsair, the Swashbuckler? Is there something else in here that you like even more? Let me know down below. As always, if you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, you can find me on Twitter at TheManaLeak. That's L-E-E-K, like the vegetable, not the card. You can find me at Facebook.com/TheManaLeak, Twitch.tv/TheManaLeak, and Patreon.com/TheManaLeak. If you like the content, click that thumbs up button. Click subscribe if you want to see more. And if you do have questions, comments, or suggestions, let me know. Otherwise, see y'all next time.